Hello. Welcome to the reports for Aloha Stored Value. The new headers here, Aloha Stored Value, you'll notice here card setup, bulk sell, adjust, lookup, but there's no option for reports. The actual reports is located under Aloha Insights header. You will see Reports Viewer. Under Reports Viewer, if you select the category Aloha Stored Value, you will see all the e-card or stored value reports that we have available on Aloha Insight. The one piece that I want to point out first, which is the most important, is this link here at the bottom that says Facts about Aloha Stored Value Reporting. If I were to click on this link, it's going to bring up a PDF format that's very important for you guys to print out or read over at some point. It goes over all the individual Aloha Stored Value in detail. Like it says here, it's a report guide. I highly recommend that everyone print this PDF out. It talks about all the reports that are available here in your list. Okay? And again, that link is available right there on the first Reports Viewer wizard. Now, when you log in, you're going to have options for all these different reports. Okay, the big handful of these reports at the very beginning, as you see, relates to ACH reporting, which stands for Automated Clearinghouse. If you are not an ACH customer, then these first few reports obviously will not have any data in them. Every report that we do have has an example, as you see here. Every report example has red circled numbers at the top. It will tell you at the bottom here, each report has its own purpose. Okay, so it will tell you the purpose. And then, of course, as I stated, it has a red circled number across the top. All these red circled numbers correspond to the information down below. All right, so we tell you what each column is doing. If there is a certain formula involved in getting any kind of those numbers, we're going to tell you that formula within this blue text down here at the bottom. Okay, so I'll hit back. And again, those were the examples. You'll also notice that there is a fund distribution and a fund distribution /AR. The AR stands for active reporting. We're in the process of moving all of our reports over to active reporting, so that's why you see some of the double reports, if you will. I highly recommend that you run all your reports in an AR format if it's available. For example, the Fund Distribution Store Summary, it's in an AR format. I would run and schedule all your reports going forward in an AR format. Eventually, these other formats will go away. So really, the first set of reports, as I stated, deal with ACH. The second report that you have in your list is Fund Distribution. We also have a Fund Distribution Store Summary. Now these, the Fund Distribution reports and the reconciliation reports, those reports are good to run, and I'll show you those as we get down the reconciliation report. These reports are good to run when you're looking to determine what store owes another store, okay, if you have multiple locations. This particular report, as well as the reconciliation report, will break that down for you as you see here. It tells you the original store purchase and where it was redeemed, what store it was redeemed in. Okay, so you see those column headers at the top. And like I stated before, every example has its own purpose and its own corresponding text down at the bottom as far as each column. And some of the purposes, are very, very helpful. And again, I highly recommend. Here's the other, the reference back to the reconciliation report that I was referring to. Okay, and then of course each column states what it's doing, and if there's any formula involved, we're going to tell you the formula. We have a liability report. Liability, and we have a liability by date range. All right, so again, if you're looking for that liability of your cars, where they were sold, added value to, that's the current history for that particular reporting. A lot of these reports, again, once you start using the Aloha Stored Value product, and you start selling and redeeming a lot more, you're going to get a lot more valid information on these particular reports. The manual adjustment is the next one in the list. Manual adjustment list. This refers to that eCard Adjust Wizard that I talked about. Essentially, you go in here, you have your who it was charged to, your date, your card type. If you scoot over here, reason number 9 or column 9 is the reason. Okay, that was a lost reservation, or the food was spilt all over them. Again, whatever adjustment reason you had, it picks up the user's name, how much was added or taken away from that customer's card. Okay, so that that card adjust wizard is captured by this report, manual adjustment list report. All right, and I mentioned earlier fund distribution reports that we have here. Okay, those 4. We also have reconciliation reports. Similar, but again gives you a little bit more detailed on what store owes another store. You will also notice under the redemption reports, we have a balance adjustment, we have cashback, and we have the unused balance. If you remember under the card setup class or the session that you listened to, there were 3 types or 3 ways to use your card prefix. If you selected the first option there for the balance adjustment, then here's the redemption reports that you would run. If you have a charities and donation card out there, these are the redemption reports you would run for those charities and donations card. Okay, so there's a lot of redemption reports in here, but you may only run 1 or 2 based on how you set up your card under the card setup wizard. All right, the next one on the list is a reward reconciliation report that we've tied to with our Aloha Loyalty product. So if you're using that particular card for both products, this is the report that you could run. So that will tell you how much money the Aloha Loyalty program is adding to your customer's stored value card. We have a sales report, a service charges report. Again, if you remember, under the card setup wizard, that session we talked about setting up service charges. If you are and can use service charges in your stores, we have that report available. The store configuration, an example of that. I didn't click on the example on all these, but everything example. Remember in session 1, we talked about your connection settings. How often, if you auto-approve your cards, how often you connect. This is the report that captures all that information for you. Okay, it kind of just basically prints it all out so you have it up front. We have a summary report. Keep in mind on this summary report, and I believe it tells you here in the example, it is from the original sale date of that card. So if you run this eCard summary report for last month, it is not going to give you the cards that were sold before that month. Okay, it's only, so basically if you want to get a valid reading on an eCard summary report, you run it from the first day that you sell your cards, okay, up to the current day. That will give you a valid eCard summary report. It's only going to display the cards that were sold. If you run this report for a month, it's only going to display the cards that were sold during that month. Okay, it's the original sell date. All right, again, the examples and the purposes of all these reports really help if you kind of look over the examples as well as the facts about the reports. We have transactions by date. And again, here's an example of a custom-built report. I know it's a custom-built report because it has an asterisk at the end. So some of you, or as you build or go into Aloha Insight, you may build your own custom reports. All right, that is covered in a separate class, a reports builder. But again, if we capture the information by a line item, then you can build your own custom